it's Amelie. Today we're going to do just practicing, and I'm going to do the Partita in A minor, Bach's Partita, the last two movements, so sarabande and bourrée anglaise. So yeah, last time, 2 weeks ago, I did the first two movements, the allemande and the Coherence. So yeah, so the sarabande. If you have any question during the live stream about the piece, just write them and I will answer them right away. If there are questions that are more general about the flute, I'll answer them at the end of the just practicing segment. Yeah, so a sarabande is a dance, a Spanish dance, I think, from the 17th century, if I'm not mistaken. And also, I think sarabande is a dance that has an accent on the second beat. Am I wrong here?
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so. I just would like to check something.
Go and check.
Okay. So I have this book. Where is it? You see it? Well. If I don't find it, I'll let it go. Oh, it's here.
Did you find it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. She found it.
Yeah. So here's my book. It's called Les règles de l'interprétation musicale. It's the rules of Baroque interpretation. This one, it's in French. The guy who wrote it, I think, is he French? I think so.
So what does it say in that book?
Hmm?
What does it say in that book in general?
It's about different things about Baroque music, like there's a table of content here. Wait, or at the end there's an index of terms. Oh, here, sarabande. So it's a fast dance of the 16th century, and it became during the 17th and 18th centuries a slow movement in the instrumental suite. So it changed. So it's like a minuet, but slow. It's 3 beats. Okay. So they say when this measure is sang, like in sarabande or passacaille, you beat 3 beats equal. 3 equal beats. Okay.
Interesting.
So it's 3 equal beats. Yeah, but you have a lot in that. You have different, here it's all the characters of the different dances. Like for allemande, the first movement of that suite, he says, and he takes from, instead of buying all the different treaties from the time and reading through them, he did that for us. And he made like a resume, and you have quotes for those treaties like Quantz, Hotteterre, Rousseau, Brossard, all types of treaties from the Baroque period. Like he's a real Jean-Claude Vélan. He knows all those things, so yeah, it's very interesting. So allemande, simple dance. In the end of the 17th century, it becomes the first or second piece of an instrumental suite. Tempo is moderate, so in the except for second part in the 18th century. Yeah, you have, and then he gives examples. Second movement is a corrente. What does he say about that?
As opposed to unequal? Coudon. Somebody at Luc St. Louis say as opposed to unequal?
Why unequal? Did I talk about equal?
I don't know. They're just curious. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, the 3 equal beats.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what they mean is they don't want too much of an accent on the first beat. That's what I guess it means. you know. But I was under the impression that the second beat was important in the sarabande, but here he doesn't talk about that. So, yeah.
What's the score in the back on the piano?
There's
Somebody's
no
asking.
piano.
No, on behind you.
Oh, it's I was yesterday evening. I played. Wait, I'm tired. Clair de Lune, Debussy.
Oh, okay.
It's a piano piece. Just I felt like playing piano. Yeah. So courante, sarabande is a slow minuet, but a minuet you have the first beat is important. So I guess sarabande is the same. La courante, une sarabande fort lente. Okay. That's not clear. Yeah. Okay. Then the last movement is a bourrée. Bourrée. It's an air. It's a dance. 2 beats. It's happy. It starts with a like a rigodon. Yeah, it's a dance, like a happy dance. Yeah. So I'll start playing. Right now I'm choosing my articulations. I tend to slur notes that are, how do you say conjoint, you know, when they're next to each other?
Joined together? Conjoined?
Yeah, when they're next to each other, but if there's a jump, then usually I tongue it. That's, and also some notes I want to make them stick out a little bit. You know, we're in A minor, so the G sharp is giving some tension, and then when it resolves on the A, it's like whew. So maybe I want to put a little bit of emphasis on that G sharp and feel that it's the tension is resolving on the A, you know. That no, I always forget those things when you have them. Will I find it? Different trills. This one, it's a mordant in French. So it's just once. You just go ta-da-da-dam. Huh? Okay, I'll check later. Okay, so that's... Yeah, I think so. It's a mordant. Okay. Is there any question? No. At 17. You see, at 25, when it goes like this, It's cadenza, you know. And then, so no, that's not a cadence, sorry. It's a cadence, so you have a cadence in D minor. So you're in D minor now. And you could think it's over, but it's a little bit like in the first movement when I said, oh, you could think it's over, and then you have a little blah, 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 blah. Just a little yes, but type of thing. The conversation is over, but someone's just saying one last little thing. So it goes like this. That's how I see it. So, okay. Okay, I'll go from 26. Nice. So I should write down some breathing marks. I think I have a pencil here. I would say in that type of music, never feel in a hurry to breathe, because you don't have anyone with you pushing you, and you can stretch the time a little bit and take it back, and you know, because you don't want people to feel when you play as if you're nervous, stressed, or in a hurry. Plus, it's a slow movement. So, okay, I'll write some breathing marks. So there, between 4 and 5, I take one just before, so it goes. Before I start the new phrase, I breathe there. Okay.
You're playing the saraband now, right?
Yeah. So between the C and the E, I could take one. And if you really need to, you could take one between 6 and 7. Yet I'm still in the saraband. So here you could take one just at A, the 9. You have a quarter note slurred to a 16th, and you could take one during that 16th that just cut it a little bit, and then you continue. And then you can do the same at 12 on that A, just before the B. So you go A here. So between the B and the C at 14. And if you really need to, at 15, you could take one after the E, between the E and the D. And then you take a big one before 17, between 16 and 17. And here, between those two A's on one side, between 20 and 21. G and the B flat. And then you can do the same at 25 between the two Ds when you finish the cadence. It's important to know where the cadences are, because that's what makes your phrases, that's what cuts your piece, that's the whole structure. Yeah. I don't know where to breathe there. Okay, so I took a breath at 26 between the D and the A. And then you could take one between the two A's at 30. It would go da da dee dum da dum bum. Or you could take one at 31 between the D and the C. But I think I will take it between the two A's. So here at 33 between the B and the F. Here you can add a trill on that G, because you also have a new cadence there. You're in E major. So no, not really. You're just having you're just ending on a 5. You're in A minor, but you're ending on the dominant chord. It's a half cadence. So you're stopping on one leg like this, and then you go back on A. So you can take a breath there because you had a cadence. So between 34 and 35. So at 39 between the E and the C, it's a good spot. And then at 40, you have this long E. You can cut it a little bit and take another one. And sometimes even if you think you don't need to breathe, you should breathe, because you might have a longer part just after, and maybe you need to make a little reserve, you know. So same thing here, F sharp at 42, the long F sharp, you cut it a little bit, you breathe there. After the G sharp at 44. Yeah. So yeah, what I would say, it's a slow movement, take your time to breathe. Make sure you know where the cadences are. Yeah, there's one last thing I wanted to make sure of. People would like me to play it one last time from beginning to end, or I go
Probably.
to the second
Why not?
movement?
Why not do it that way?
Okay.
A little.
Just
A lot of people have been practicing this piece, and
yeah.
I think it's pretty helpful that you have that book. It kind of clears things up a little bit.
Okay, so I think when you have that mordant, you don't do the top note.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wrong there.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't do the top note.
So do you want to show that?
But that's not my Baroque book.
What book is that?
It's just a theory book.
Music theory
book. But I'm pretty sure it's that because I had a doubt the whole time I was playing it. I think it's. No,
Is it
maybe
supposed to be
for
3? Isn't it supposed to be 3?
because that's not a Baroque book. So
Interesting.
Let's see here, because I have a doubt. Sometimes I doubt like that. I tend to forget those things. Always have to check again. 'Cause I don't see it here. Sign.
Yeah, people definitely want you to play it again.
Okay, I'll play it again. Should I play the top note or not? You know, because I know there are
Playing
some.
the top note or not?
That's a question. Because I know there's some exceptions.
Yeah, sometimes there's exceptions to the rule. If anyone knows that in the comments, for sure.
Yeah, if you know,
Let
just
us know.
tell me.
Don't hesitate,
Yeah,
because we're
tell
all
us.
trying to figure it out.
Okay, so here.
Yeah, playing that top note. I think it's the way you did it.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
For now.
Probably. It sounds better anyway, so I think I'll just play it like that because I don't like the how it sounds the other way.
Mm-hmm.
If I go. I prefer that. Dum, ba-da-da-dum, bum. What do you prefer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, I'll play it from beginning to end. Then I'll do the bourrée angloise. Angloise. It's old French. Okay. I think I made a mistake. Yeah, but is your version different from normal versions?
No, it's just the most it's the Urtex.
Oh, okay.
It's the Urtex
'Cause
version.
you added something by hand.
Oh, perhaps you should erase it. Maybe that's from decades ago.
Okay, I'll do it again.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, and another thing, when you have chromaticism, usually it means tension, you know? So you have twice here, just in a row, you have the G sharp A and then you have the F and E. I think it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
was somebody's asking. Was wondering by what year was this from? What year is this made? I guess, and then what form of flute was being used? It was a Baroque flutes and recorders. Like recorders played that a lot.
Well, Bach died in 1650. And he was born in 1568. No, 85. Am I wrong here?
Maybe. Yeah, I think you're right.
And so it's first half of the 17th century. No. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, he was born. He was no.
He was born in 16th century.
He was born in
16th century means the 1500s.
No, he was born in 1685 and he was dead.
1685 died in 1750.
Yeah, I was 100 years.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, 100 years.
Like, what am I saying here?
Yeah, 1685.
So it was probably written the first half of the 18th century.
There we go. I don't know the exact date of this one, but
yeah, he died in 1750.
But that piece, but yeah,
between 17 and 1750. I'm not sure. I don't know at what time exactly.
But people played on a Baroque flute. Yeah, people played on.
I can show it.
No, you can talk and then I can show it after.
It's
I can grab it.
That box there. So it was played on that. I don't know if you noticed, but when I played it, I also realized some notes on the first beat that are lower. You can make them more important, more resonate more, I guess. A bit like in the first movement when you go, you know. Those bomb, you know, the bass here. And here in the sarabande, you know, you have stuff like that. Let's say at 33. And there were other places at 24, let's say. Let's say I start at 23. That, you know, that bass, that harmonic bass moving around. So that's interesting to make it come out. Okay, so is that good for that movement? Yeah. I'll start the second one. So that's faster. I haven't played it in a while, so I'll just play it slowly once. bass in 2/4. Question? No. So I would say mostly I would play the 8 notes short, the 16th notes and the
They love your
quarter
energy.
notes longer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like dum ba da dum ba da dum bum bum ba da 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 da. So
Yeah, and people were wondering if the flute that you're playing on was being played on in the 1860s. Yes and no, not like that. Like there was some subtlety differences. Like the Boehm flute was going through a lot of transitions.
the 1860s.
1860s.
Oh, but
yeah.
1860s is like a long time after.
I know,
This was
but
what
they
you
were just
think.
wondering about the flute
Oh,
itself.
okay.
So like, yeah, this flute is that type of flute that we play right now. It's about what 150 years old. There was a transition between the 1800s and 1860s and 70s and 80s
Because
when
at
Boehm
Bach's time there was only
one key.
one key.
Yeah.
One
I
key.
can't find the
It's not
flute here.
in
No,
my...
that's another red box. I have to find another red box. I'll go and look for it because it'd be cool to show.
Yeah.
We do have a Baroque flute.
And
So yeah,
and then they added some keys
Yeah.
slowly.
slowly.
Then they used metal.
Yeah. Then
But
metal came
Böhm-
into.
No, Denner invented the clarinet. Are those two related in a way? Like when they
It'd be
invented
interesting
the
to find out.
system for the clarinet,
I'd
'cause
like to
that's
know about
around
that.
1750, 1753.
Because there was a
I
revolution,
think.
and there was a revolution
That
in all the instruments
in
like
Germany,
that. Yeah.
Denner invented the clarinet. Was the clarinet the first, to have those key systems that
Be interesting to find
block
out.
another hole?
Yeah, it'd
And
be
then
interesting.
did Böhm get inspired by that? That would be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, because Boehm was around 1831, and
He was
Around
after
there.
the clarinet was invented.
I believe so.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
Mozart wrote for the clarinet.
Yeah, Mozart wrote for the clarinet.
It's
yeah.
around It's in the
So that key
it was
system was
invented.
around before then. Yeah, that key system was around.
Yeah. So
more
the
or
flute
less.
didn't
Like-
invent the key system.
No, I don't
But
think
I don't
so.
know how the clarinet was either at that
yeah,
time.
yeah, we don't know much about clarinet. We're just
I
kind
don't
of
know
talking
much
at
about
it.
that instrument.
And what did the clarinet look like in
but
Mozart's time?
I would be curious, to
Yeah.
see how those influenced each other.
Totally. Oh, definitely have to
That
research
would
about
be
that and make a
very
video about it.
interesting thing.
Yeah.
Because we see things as, oh, we're flutists, we just look at the flute, but those
Right.
things, I'm sure,
Oh, they
They
all
got
cross-relate and
inspired,
contaminate to
yeah.
each other. Yeah, they go they go
like
to each other.
saxophone,
Saxophone was not very old.
when the
It's,
saxophone was
yeah.
invented,
It was invented in the circus by Adolphe Sax, a guy in Brussels.
yeah.
Yeah, he's Belgian.
Belgian, I
Belgian
think it was French.
no, it's Belgian.
Belgian?
Belgian, yeah.
But
Adolphe
he-
Sax.
like the system of keys already existed, not when you invent something you still use stuff that already exists.
Mm-hmm.
Just yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, what was I doing? Okay. So yeah, the 8 notes I would play them a bit short in general. In general, I would play the 16th a bit longer and the quarter notes longer too. This way it gives it a jumpy feeling, but also a sense of going forward with your phrase. And as always, the bass is important, especially when you play solo, because the bass is the guide. Harmonically, the bass is the guide of what's happening with the music. So the whole structure relies on the bass. And in Occidental music, most of the music is like this pyramid where you have the bass. Let's say in an orchestra, you'll have the bass instruments like the double bass and the tuba that really make the foundation, and then the higher instruments go on top. And so when you play alone, you kind of have to give that feeling that the bass is the base of your pyramid and that the higher notes come on top. Doesn't mean never to play loud in the high register, not at all. It's just, yeah. Okay, so I'll do that. So here, I'm sure some people will experience difficulties with that second bar because of that. What I see people do a lot is overworking, working way too hard. So they'll try to really push the low register. When really, you can just let it resonate. And you don't have to work hard to get the higher note. Do you want me to show that?
Yes,
or
that's
you wanna
Baroque
show
flute.
that?
Yeah, here you go.
Because I was doing
So sorry, because I just brought it I will just make sure it works.
So that's the
Just make
Baroque
sure it works.
flute.
That's a Baroque flute, yeah.
And you have 6 holes here, plus the 7th hole with your pinky. It's a bit different because the keys are far away from each other. I don't play it well at all. I don't remember the fingerings because there's some differences. I used to practice it and I had a certain level of knowledge. I forgot.
Doesn't project. It doesn't project. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't project that much. You know, it's a different type of thing.
But
you know.
Also, it's been not played for a while, so maybe the needs a.
No, it's been. You've taken it pretty good care of it, and.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
I would have to practice it. I don't remember the little subtleties. Like it's coming back.
You should do a music video with the standard flute and then do one with the Baroque flute too. Of that piece.
Yeah. I should make maybe a just practicing where I start learning this.
Baroque edition. Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. You can get it back over here.
So that's enough.
Yeah. Learning the Baroque flute. Starting Baroque from scratch.
That's an understatement. I'm not very good at it.
But
I find it a bit tough on my right hand. Because my fingers have to reach the holes.
And some people are asking about the people we'll be releasing a full version of this whole entire piece soon too. You'll record it and put it as a video.
Oh yeah, that's a nice idea.
Yeah.
I'd like to have a wooden head joint. That I would really enjoy.
Yeah, wooden head joint's cool. We have a lot of good wooden head joint makers here, and I'm sure we can definitely work something out about that. Is this this Baroque flute? Is it made where?
Made in Quebec.
Made in Quebec. Here in Canada.
Yeah, by a guy who now makes recorders. He makes them very well, but I don't think he still makes Baroque flutes. Okay. But it's a very good Baroque flute that I have.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like a lot of people are mentioning. It really sounds a lot like a recorder, and yeah, they were very similar of the time, you know. Yeah. Except recorder had a reeded type of. It had a reeded type of thing. Yeah. That little. Yeah. You have the reed hole or whatever it's called.
Mid more in the Baroque flute, like in the recorder, all the.
It's just sound.
Air is going directly, so it's a bit more brilliant. Yeah. That's a bit more.
Yeah, and a lot of the articulations in recorder come from the fingers and the tongue. Like you have to articulate with the fingers as well. Yeah, that's what I've heard and learned through Team Recorder and all those other people. Like it's a little bit of each, not heavily.
I play the recorder, but not at a very high level. Like I can play better recorder than Baroque flute, but
right. Yeah. And then there's like recorder players.
I'm not a virtuoso at the recorder.
No, me either. Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, and I tend to slur, the same as I said before.
Right.
When it's close by, I tend to slur it. When it's a bit more, like let's say at bar 1, 2, 3, when it goes. I do ta ha ha ta 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 ta. So stuff like that. And then at 7 I tongue everything. Double tonguing. If you don't know what double tonguing is, we have a video about double tonguing. You can look at it. Taka 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 ta. I don't know what else to say right now. I'm just gonna play through it. If there's questions, I'm gonna answer them. And I'm gonna stop in some spots. So here you hear a progression, you know. So that's interesting. So first time you do it forte, second time piano, and I was thinking, why not slur it the second time? So it's totally different. So first time double tonguing. Ah, that's weird. I won't do that. Okay, so. Why did you change it in that? It's different from my version, so I'm.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, it's life. It's. So, like here, you see, I say, oh, usually I do them short, the 8 notes, but here I think it would be nice to let it resonate, that one. Especially because it's, I don't know, it's on a downbeat, the most important beat of the bar.
Right.
Yeah.
When did you start flute again? Around 10?
11.
11. Okay, there you go.
A long time ago.
Oh, is it Jean? Oh, sorry. Again, is it Jean-Luc Bourdreau?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jean-Luc Bourdreau.
Okay. Somebody asked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I didn't buy it directly from him, so I don't really know him. I bought it from someone who bought it from him. You know, secondhand. I got it. Whoops. Here, I think it would be interesting to play piano at 21. No. No slurring there. I don't know why I would go from piano to forte that dramatically, you know. At 33, I'll just... So here it's the same principle. At 29, you played forte and detached, and then at 31, it's the same thing. You played piano and slurred, or slurred by 2, or... Okay. So that's moving quite a lot. So I go all slurred by 2, except when I have to do, so I do 1 and then 3 together, and then by 2 again. 1, 3 by 2. Then I won't slur it. Here at the E, I would change the color, maybe play it a bit more piano at 46, you know, on that. So here, it's like a step. So I would progress on the next step, and then in that, so. That's important, you know. I think I won't slur it, but I won't tongue it detached. I'll do like a da 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 da, and I'll make it long. I won't do da 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 da. No. Here it's like an exception to my rule of saying, oh, mostly the 8 notes I'll play them short, but not there. So here it's a little cadence, you see, in A minor, and you have a progression. Oh, and it's a little bit the same thing that we had in almost every movement, that you have this thing that ends and then a little blah 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 at the end. So you have this cadence, and then so I would change the color there, and it's a bit like I want the last word, but I don't have enough authority to really say it, so I'll just mutter it after the boss really said what's gonna happen there. Okay, maybe I won't do it so short here. Here I'll slur those two. That chromaticism. So you have two lines of chromaticism that are next to each other. You have da-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. So that's interesting. So one I slur, one I tongue, but I tongue a bit longer. If you want, when you have a G sharp and then an A, you can leave your pinky on the G sharp key, and your A will sound a little bit more open, a little bit. It won't be low, so that's nice. Sometimes I do that. And you know, sometimes I say things in those just practicing, and maybe in a month I'll play it differently. I'll say, oh, here I breathe there, and then when I play it again, I'm like, oh, maybe not, and I change my mind. So you don't have to take these things as
just take them as tips. Yeah, no, they're just general tips to try out. As the curious flutists that we are, and the curious musicians that we are, they're different ideas.
And we're always evolving, and
do whatever works. If it works, it works. Maybe it works now. Maybe it works for different. Maybe something else later in life because you have different tastes or whatever.
And it's also about conviction. So if
totally.
You're not convinced of that and you don't feel it that way, you won't play it with conviction. Then it won't be interesting. So make sure you choose ways to play that you believe in, so you're gonna be able to sell your ideas better. You know. So it's just that.
Totally.
So yeah, chromaticism again, and also those parts where you have a cadence and then blah 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 blah. That's interesting because he brings that back in every movement. It's kind of an idea he has. Maybe his kids were talking back. I don't know. I like having ideas about human relations in music, you know, because it's language and yeah, it's my thing. I like that. Chromaticism, bass, hearing when you have some progressions, when you have the same motive, the same word, you know, that comes back, but maybe a step up, or those types of things, and making it sound like it's progressing, and then changing color when it's a new idea that comes. So I think that would be like basic tips for that. For breathing, it's not that difficult. You have a lot of places to breathe, end of phrases, long notes at the end. When you have a long note at the end of a bar, you have time there. And you have a lot of those in that piece. Sometimes you can breathe between 2 8 notes, because also you play most of them short, so it's easy to breathe there. So is there any question?
About that piece?
Yeah?
I didn't see one, but
Do you think people would like me to play it once?
yeah, play it once through.
I'll try to play it well because I'm really just practicing. I didn't practice it prior to that, so since it's
that's why it's called just practicing.
I'll do my best. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I won't stop. If I make a mistake, I'll go on.
Cool.
I'll try. I'll do it again. I'm not happy. Okay. It mixes me up, that thing.
Erase it if you wish.
Yeah.
You can erase it.
It's just I'll write what I had in my other part.
Mm-hmm.
To find it. Okay. It's totally different notes. Once I go through that part, I think I'm gonna be okay until the end. Okay. I'll do it a tiny bit slower.
Yeah, it was great. If you guys liked it, let us know in the comments. That was pretty good. It was a good one. So so let's we have 3 questions. We'll answer those.
Yeah, I just wanted to say.
Sure, you can also say stuff. Yeah, sure.
So when I played it like that, I realized some places I took a little bit more time to breathe, and I think it's a good idea to do that.
That's
if you don't want to end up
totally
out of breath.
Yeah.
And also some places the bass notes, I made them resonate more, and I can talk about that.
Even just at the beginning, yeah, the bass note.
I think it's interesting. So little things like that. Yeah.
Cool. And if you guys have more questions about it, if you listen through this and you have a question, be sure to let us know in the comments after this video if you're not watching it live. That way we can also answer it then, and then we can also answer it possibly on the Flute Talk podcast as well and go back and do all that stuff. So feel free about that. So Expel Beast wants to know, he has a question, general question. What should I look out for when exercising with harmonics? Changes in lip jaw movements or exaggerated movements of the abdominal muscles?
Okay, I would say think about sending faster air. So just maybe first put your hand on your belly and go. And yes, you'll see the abdominals, they're working. I don't know if you can see. Like this.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can change the speed of air. And then You might have to move your jaw a little bit forward, but it's a very, very, very tiny movement. You know, let's say And it's also about sending the air on the right spot on the embouchure when you do harmonics. So maybe it's about focusing the air more than moving your jaw or anything like that. It's very subtle. Yeah, but airspeed and always supporting the air with the abdominals around the diaphragm. And try that. Tell us if it helps.
Sure.
But
Let us know
very
in
often
the,
I see people who
questions.
work
Yeah.
way too hard with their mouths. Like that has to be pretty sturdy, you
Yeah.
know? And it's tiny, tiny movements that will bring the air on one spot or another, but don't forget to put the air inside the flute, because sometimes when we want to go high, we tend to do this. And then we send the air outside of the flute. That's not helpful.
No, the air has to go in the flute. The speed of the
air.
air has to go in, and that's how you achieve those harmonics. You have to. It's like that Laurel thingy. You know, it's all about frequencies. If you want to hear the higher frequencies, you have to put in that energy, not let that energy go out, because then it won't go inside and make those harmonics.
Yeah.
Because you need that frequency to make that harmonic.
Visualize high register there. I know I said that before, but I visualize my low register like here, and then middle, and then high. Nothing above myself, because
then you're losing air. Because it's all about frequencies, not about like any tone, any richness in tone, or any color that you hear in a sound is just frequencies. You know, they're frequencies mixed all together.
Yeah.
You have to master the frequencies.
So send the air inside the flute.
Send the air inside the flute if you want more chances.
It's always difficult to give advice when I don't see people.
Of course.
Because I'm in the... It could be 100 things. I'm
It
going for what I've seen the most in my short life.
Your short time here on this planet.
Yeah.
So hopefully that answers your question. How do you get... Carmen Freeman wants to know, how do you get those low notes sound so rich and round?
Yeah, I let them out.
He'll try that out today. Expel Beast will try that out, what you said before.
That's cool.
He was stuck around. He or she stuck around, sorry.
I used to want too much in life in general. Sometimes I still want too much. You know, when you want, I really want this. And then I would push it and crack it, you know. And sometimes I just let it... I just bring... Especially if I have to go from low to high, I bring the support lower. Let's say... It's really about the air. Because you can hear... Let's say I do this. You'll hear the air is not the same speed, or... It's not the same air speed. There's always air, but there's a little... You know? And also, don't cover the hole. Very often people play in the low register and they visualize it maybe too low, and then they put their head down, and then they cover the hole with their head. Like, keep your head straight, keep the hole open, and blow in front of you, and it should be working.
That's a good way. Yeah, totally.
But as I said before, I don't see you, so I don't know exactly what it is, you know.
Yeah.
But
that's what you...
Sometimes people do this, you know, that thing.
Yeah.
And also pushing too hard because we're so afraid it's going to crack. But then we make it crack because
I think we should make a new video about that. Yeah, we should make a new video about that, because a lot of people don't go back to the old videos and making something new with a little bit more stuff like that, because that's always a question we get all the time.
We have a video about low register. It's not very old, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, it does. Oh, it's very well done. Yeah,
I think it's like there's a lot of information.
Kimberly Culbreath wants to know, how much time per day is good for practicing? Can you recommend?
I don't know how much time you have.
Yeah, how much time you have? What are your goals?
Yeah, you know, if you want to be a professional or you want to play for fun.
Yeah, you have to find pieces, because people will tend to want to play pieces to play, or if you want to have a concert in a couple months, or if you're doing it by yourself, like what type of goals do you want to
Yeah.
set? You know, I think we should make a video of that
But
too. That's
one-
a good,
one,
interesting way.
One
Yeah.
general thing about practicing is it's more efficient to practice little increments often
Yes.
than try to do 4 hours in a day, because your brain,
Especially 4 hours straight, because that's just
and
without
it's
any breaks.
even dangerous.
It's
for
super
your body
dangerous.
To
It is in fact dangerous.
Yeah,
People get
to
injured and hurt.
injure yourself. Plus, when you're not focused anymore because you're tired, you tend to learn mistakes. Then it's anti-productive because you're learning a mistake that then you'll have to work to unlearn and relearn the right thing. So, I would say it's also about how you practice. You know, it's not quantity of time; it's quality of time.
Well, it is quality of time because the brain can only do so
Cliche,
much.
but
Because
it's
it's also
true.
chemistry in the brain. The brain can only learn so much for a certain chunk of time, then take a break, then take
Yeah.
a chunk of time, then take a break.
It's about being focused and having good goals. You have clear goals. What do you want to achieve in that practice? Because very often, when I was 11 years old, I had this thing. I'm going to practice an hour of flute and an hour of piano every day, no matter what. And then if I didn't have enough time, on Sunday, I would take back that time. I could practice 8 hours on Sundays. I was crazy. And I was learning mistakes, and my piano teacher was like, "How do you practice?" And then she was like, "It's not that. When you're tired, stop. You're learning mistakes. You're being yeah, it's a lot about how you practice and setting goals for yourself. I think studies are very good when you're learning, because you learning a study every week. You learn, you improve sight reading. You improve reading the articulations, dynamics, and they're in different keys for the technique. It's good because you learn, you know, and they're fun. Sometimes it's more fun to practice than scales, though it's good to practice scales. And also it's about doing a little bit of everything, a little bit of sound, a little bit of articulation, a little bit of scales, and then a study, and then you change study often, but you pick a piece or two that are more difficult that you'll work for a longer period of time on, and that maybe you'll play on in a concert, so you feel accomplished. You know, you have a sense of accomplishment that this piece is done and has been played and performed. That's a good way to do your practice. But then, do you practice 30 minutes or 3 hours? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
It's a whole-
It's a whole thing.
thing of what are your goals?
Now, before we answer our last question, just want to make sure to let everybody know that we also have a Patreon, and that you should definitely go check out patreon.com/theflute channel, where you can help us by contributing a certain amount of money every month, and it helps us be able to do this more and make more videos, and because we only have a certain amount of time and only a certain amount of money. So yeah, definitely check that out at patreon.com/theflute channel. Also, be sure to check out all of our other videos. We have over like 150 videos now, where we talk about many different things, and be sure to comment and watch those, and be sure to check out our community tab, where that's where we talk and communicate with all you guys on a daily basis, where we share polls and stuff like that, and pictures and future videos, and just general conversations, and generally through the comment section as well. So yeah, just be sure to do that. And also, if you're looking for flutes, be sure if you're in the market to buy a flute anywhere in the world, be sure to check out the Flute Center of New York at flutesforsale.com. And if you use the code TFC, you can get these perks, which include a 10-day trial period of up to 3 flutes. And you also, when you actually buy a flute, you can actually, instead of having a 12-year warranty, you get an 18th-month warranty.
12 months.
Instead of a 12-month warranty, you get an 18-month warranty on your flute or piccolo. So you can go to their website or call them and ask for a couple flutes and then try them out. And I think it's even free shipping or close to free shipping as well. Yeah, with our code as well.
Yeah.
And so
also it's good for us.
And it's good for us because we'll be transparent here. We do get a commission from that. That helps us, just like anything else based on commissions. It helps us make more stuff.
Like every
other flutist that does that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, be sure to use the code TFC, and that definitely helps us out as well. And they have the world's largest selection of flutes, so they are definitely the place that you can get any flute in the world. So you can try it there.
well, it's necessary to try.
It's absolutely
So,
necessary to try. We
it's a very
we have
good
10 or
thing.
12 episodes of flutes that we've tried from there, and we always encourage that. Try as many flutes as you can, and that's it. So our last question is from Nathan, and his question is tips for being nervous during auditions.
Okay. First thing, I would say people sound better through the door. So when you hear other players,
Totally.
you might think, "Oh my God, she's so good, he's so good. I'm never gonna be able to play like this." Blah blah blah. So stop your brain right there.
Yeah.
'Cause
I used to call it the double door syndrome.
It's
you know?
terrible. Like
Sound even better through double doors. It's crazy
crazy.
because it's like an echo chamber of
I don't know
amazing
why
sound.
people sound so good through a door, but I did an audition when I first came in university. It was my first audition, and everyone sounded amazing. And I went and played, and I thought I didn't sound good at all. And I realized I was third, on 30 people. So it meant not everyone sounded as amazing as I thought. It was the door. Because then I stopped stressing about that door. It's like, wow, people don't, there's this thing, you don't hear the articulation so well. There's a lot of things that are muffled, and you're nervous, so you kind of interpret everything as everyone else being better than you. So that's the first thing. Just know that it's your mind is playing tricks on you, and the door is playing tricks on you. And I would say, I think I talked about that before, the monkey brain, the brain that just goes on and says weird things or mean things that are not helpful. And it's a training to have this just stop, and sometimes it's good to replace those thoughts. So what I do when I have thoughts like this is that I'll just put my attention on something else. So my brain goes, "Oh, you're not good enough. Who do you think you are to do this? Blah, blah, blah." I just stop that and start thinking, breathing, moving my fingers. If I'm already playing, I'll focus on the notes. I'll focus on something else, but I'll just put my attention on something else. Because thoughts, they're just thoughts. They're just coming and going. Your brain is built to make up thoughts. You don't have to identify yourself with those thoughts. They don't mean anything, really.
Sure, totally.
They're just they're not material or anything. Just a thought that's passing by. Just let it go. But in real life, you have more time to let it go. When you're performing, you have to be a bit faster.
Yeah, I would say even just move on to the next thing,
Yeah,
that's
just
an easy
putting
way
your
to,
attention on something else.
Totally.
A bit like what you do with a little kid,
Yeah.
I remember when my son was little and he would throw a tantrum about something, and I would just say, "Oh, did you notice this thing?" And he would go on, and we're all a bit like that. So we can decide that we want to, how do you say, clench to things, we want to hold on to things, we want to hold on to that thought or that feeling. But it's just a thought, it's just a feeling. You can change it, it can move. It's just like a river flowing, and the thought can just go in the river, and the current brought it somewhere else. And then you can put your attention on something else, and you can choose where you put your attention. So that would be something. Then I always talk about cardiac coherence, because I think it's an efficient way, and it's a very easy way. You breathe in through your nose 5 seconds. You breathe out through your mouth 5 seconds. You do that for 5 minutes. So you breathe 6 times per minute.
So
you can
30
do that
times. 35 times? Yeah.
30 times?
30 times.
In 6 minutes. In 5 minutes.
In 5
6
minutes.
times per minute.
Yeah.
So you can put a timer, and you see 5 seconds, and you breathe out. You can do that. You can do it just in your head. And there's also online, there's a lot of YouTube videos about it. We even have one on our channel that's breathing for musicians.
Yeah,
it's
breathing for
cardiac
musicians,
coherence. And it brings your heart rate to a certain coherence, and there's 2 nerves that go from the brain, where emotions are processed, and the heart, and that's kind of bringing things in balance to breathe that way. So that's efficient. So that's a good way to train yourself. But I would say that putting your attention on what you want, and not just not identifying yourself to just thoughts that, you know, you're nervous. Those thoughts are gonna come, and you don't have to identify yourself or. Yeah. But cardiac coherence is good. Breathing, also holding your breath, sometimes brings down your heart rate, and then, you know, if you're very nervous, you go. And you hold it for like 20 seconds, and then you can do it twice, and then you start breathing normally, and your heart rate should go back to something more normal. Because that's what beta blockers do. Really.
Yep, that's what beta blockers do, or eating a banana does.
They bring the heart rate. They keep your heart from going faster. Because that's what makes you. And in nature, when your heart starts going fast like that, it means you have to fight or flight. So you need adrenaline, you need energy. But it's not a bad thing to have that energy, because then if you know how to canalize that energy, stress can be a good thing and can give you more energy to play better, you know. So it's a whole, maybe just changing the mindset a little bit, looking at things in a slightly different angle and use that in your advantage.
Yeah, so hopefully that helps.
I think beta blockers can be dangerous.
Yeah, it can be dangerous. It's true. You can do too much.
Like I've heard of a young person having a pneumothorax.
Oh no.
Because of that.
Ooh.
Because I think he didn't even go to a doctor. Another musician gave it to him. Like, I don't know. I'm not for those things.
On a lighter note, just a shout out to Darian Thompson. He wanted a shout out, so we'll give him one. He says you're my favorite flute player. I wish you could teach me how to play the flute. I know how to play a little, but and plus it's the best instrument ever.
It is.
So yeah, if you want to have lessons with Amelie, she does have an online studio. Teaches through Skype, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of people who've done it really love it and continue to play with her. So you can email us at info@theflutechannel.com. So that's info@theflutechannel.com. And you can email us, and we can definitely, and the website's called theflutechannel.com. So you can check us out there, and we can give you information about how much it costs and availabilities and all those types of things. So yeah,
and eventually we want to do.
We're still working on the group masterclass through Discord, which will have about between 4 to 8 people in a 2-hour window. And everybody pays a certain amount, very low amount.
This way it's
and
cheaper.
That's why it's cheaper, and everyone gets to listen to everybody else. And
so it's a good learning experience.
And it's a good learning experience, and you get to play and ask questions and learn directly from Amelie. So that will come up soon too. If you're interested in that, if you're interested in the Discord masterclass, go to theflutechannel.com, and on the top right-hand corner, you'll see Discord masterclass. Click that, and then give us your email, and we will keep you in the loop about when we're going to do that first, because we'll be doing a beta test for everyone. So we're going to do one with 4 to 8 people for free. We're going to try to see how that works, and so be sure to sign up for that if you want to be able to participate in that. If you're eligible, there's certain criteria that will have to be met for the beta test, but yeah, so let us know about that. And so yeah, that's it for us. Thanks, Amelie.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, it was really great.